Well, Abacus Design and Building is primarily, I would say, a restoration and refurbishment business. But because of the type of person I am, I won't just do one thing. I'm a qualified Valiant service engineer. I did my apprenticeship for a guy called Stan Dakin, who's sadly dead now. I love making staircases, cupboards, that kind of thing. So I will do bespoke furniture if somebody wants me to. I learnt to plaster, you know, the ornate coving. I can either make that on a bench or make it in place, what they call throwing it. These sills, these come out of a little old cottage in Exeter. These are about 120 years old pieces of oak. So rather than throw the work surfaces away, I always keep everything. We cut it up and made a few little nice bits for the house. So hopefully it's still all old, although there's bits from lots of different properties in this house. We've tried to keep it within the criteria of it being like 100-year-old, but pulled by its boot and braces into the modern day. I wish I could live forever, because then I could spend 100 years learning to do one thing really well and then just progress through every little job. Whereas my little window in my life now is literally doing what I do. Well, out of all the rooms in the house, I think the bathroom for me is really important, and I think this is the one where people walk in. They don't expect a little old cottage to have a wet room with underfloor heating. So they kind of walk in here and go, wow. Orientation of it is a little different from what most people possibly would think would be best, but it does give you this huge, great big space, which is your wet room. So I find for me that it's probably one of the nicest rooms in the house. Depending on the size of the job, obviously a house build for me would be 8 to 12 months doing it on my own for a standard 2-bedroom house. Another year I might do, if they're little jobs, you're probably looking every 4 to 6 weeks. I would say I have a job change. In between that, you might have a repair, a bathroom, you know, little bits and pieces like that. So every year is different, basically. I'd seen in the dentist, when I'd had my teeth done, this, I think it was Sunday Times, advertising that this MyBuilder site was being sponsored by Travis Perkins, Wix I think was another one of them, and somebody else. I thought, oh, I'll just look at that. Went on the internet, typed in my details and thought, yeah, let's give it a go. You know, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and I've got a 70-mile radius for my work, always have done. Got a couple of hits back which seemed quite interesting and different from the normal things that you get from being local. And with moving out of Launceston, obviously I wasn't going into the pub and I wasn't seeing anybody in the town centre, which is how normally you would get your work, seeing your friends. And basically that's how it started. Had my first job, which was in Bishop's Nympton. The builder sadly had died and had a heart attack, and it had been another 3 or 4 years before they could bring themselves to getting someone to finish the work. Subsequently, since that, I've done work for the son, extensive work, probably 2 years worth of work, the other daughter and other family members. And I just then kept up with the MyBuilder site. Little bits come in every now and then that I think, you know, that would be an interesting job to do. And I think it's what, 7, 8, 9 years now that I've been doing work via the site.